Rain poured in sheets across the dimly lit motel parking lot. Sarah Bennett pressed her 5-year-old son, Jonah, against her chest, breath shaky. A black SUV lurked beyond the puddles. She tasted the metallic tang of fear and rain. Her pulse thundered. Her mind raced. Protect Jonah at all costs. She stumbled forward on slick asphalt. Jonah whimpered, small arms tightening around her neck. Thunder rolled overhead. Headlights sliced through darkness. Figures emerged from the SUV, 2 men in dark jackets, faces hidden. Sarah backed against a lamppost, heart pounding. "Mommy, please," Jonah whispered. Sarah's knuckles whitened on Jonah's jacket. She scanned for escape. The motel's neon sign flickered, gasping its last light. A car door slammed. Footsteps splashed toward them. A gun glinted in the nearest man's hand. Sarah's heart lurched. She lunged sideways, dragging Jonah into a dive behind a dumpster. Rain splattered her face as she crawled low. Her coat snagged on rusted metal. She wrenched free, yanked Jonah up. Footsteps thundered. Sarah sprinted toward the motel entrance, locking eyes with a stranger across the lot. Tall, broad-shouldered, coat soaked, he raised a silenced pistol. He fired twice. Bullets pinged off metal. 2 men crumpled. Sarah froze, mouth dry. The man approached, eyes sharp. He reached her in a flash. Without a word, he scooped Jonah into his arms. Sarah felt relief crash over her briefly, until danger still seethed around them. The stranger fired again. One attacker went down. The other fled, scrambling into the night. Sarah's breathing came fast and shallow. The stranger set Jonah down, gently. He offered a hand. "Come with me," he said, voice low and calm. Sarah hesitated. Instinct screamed to trust him. She grabbed his hand and ran into the rainy blackness. Lightning split the sky. Her fake engagement, viral fame, improbable chance of meeting a stranger armed with a gun, everything whirled in her mind. As they reached his car, Jonah clutched her leg. Tears mixed with rain on her cheeks. "Mommy," Jonah whispered, voice trembling. She swallowed hard. "It's okay, baby. He's helping us." The stranger tossed her keys. "Drive." His gaze shifted back to the lot. "We'll talk when you're safe." Sarah slid into the driver's seat with Jonah on her lap. Engine roared. Taillights of the black SUV ghosted in the rain. They sped away. Her heart pounded. Who was this man? Why was he here? And why had her simple plan spiraled into a nightmare? As they vanished into the storm, Sarah clenched Jonah close, determined to keep him safe, no matter what lay ahead. Sunlight filtered through thin blinds in a small 2-bedroom apartment in Lincoln Square, Chicago. The air smelled of freshly brewed coffee and baby powder. Jonah lay on a plush rug, his laughter filling the living room. Sarah watched him, phone in hand. She scrolled social media, hundreds of comments under her viral post. Fake engagement fail. Single mom strikes again. Drama queen. The words stung. Her phone pinged. A notification from her manager. "Your meeting is in 30 minutes. Corporate wants an explanation for the cancellation." Again. Sarah sighed. She rubbed her temples. She'd spent the last week fending off calls from tabloids, all because she'd pretended to be engaged to avoid judgment at her school's PTA. It was supposed to be harmless. Fake ring, staged photos, but someone leaked it. Videos of her engagement party went viral. Now every gossip site had her name. Jonah crawled into her lap, chubby arms wrapping around her neck. She kissed his hair. "Hey, champ," she whispered. "You ready for breakfast?" He grinned. "Pancakes?" She forced a smile. "Pancakes it is." In the kitchen, Sarah flipped pancakes on a cast-iron skillet. Batter sizzled. The sweet aroma filled the cramped space. She glanced at a faded photo on the counter. Her father, handsome and smiling, arms around a toddler Sarah. He'd died 5 years ago. No will, no instructions, just a cold void. Phone buzzed again, this time an email from a law firm. Estate of Jonathan Bennett, urgent. Her pulse quickened. She tapped the email. A PDF attachment. She hesitated, then opened it. A letter from her father's lawyer, dated yesterday. Dear Ms. Bennett, you are cordially requested to meet regarding your father's estate. A substantial inheritance awaits. Urgent matters to discuss. Sarah's breath caught. Inheritance? She remembered over the years trying to locate any paperwork. Nothing. She ran a hand through her hair. Could this be real? Or a cruel trick? She stared at the black text on white paper. Jonah tugged her sleeve. Mama! Pancakes! She forced a nod, masking her shock. Coming, baby. She filled 2 plates. Jonah devoured his pancakes, sticky syrup in the corners of his mouth. Sarah watched him, mind spinning. They had rent to pay, tuition for preschool, and groceries to buy. Inheritance would change everything. But if someone attacked her last night, maybe it was about this. Her phone buzzed again. A DM from her best friend, Kelly. Saw the video of last night. You okay? Sarah typed quickly. Barely. We need to talk. She stepped onto the tiny balcony for air. The city hum buzzed around her. Cars honked. Children played in backyards. She closed her eyes, inhaling the cool spring breeze. Fear knotted in her chest. She thought of the stranger who saved them. Who was he? Could she trust him? Thunder rumbled in the distance. She glanced at the gray sky, remembering last night's chase. She shivered. Below, a man across the street watched her from behind a newspaper. Or so it seemed. She bristled, heart pounding. He lowered the paper and slipped into a black sedan. Fear tangled with resolve. She had to protect Jonah. She had to face the inheritance, but also the danger it brought. Her cell rang. Unknown number. She swallowed and answered. Hello? A deep voice echoed. Ms. Bennett, this is Lucas Carter. We met last night. I'm your protector now. We need to talk. Private, secure. Sarah's breath hitched. Lucas Carter? Your father's lawyer contacted me. We're connected. Meet me at Carmichael Park in 1 hour. He hung up. Sarah's hands trembled. She sat on a folding chair on the balcony, phone balanced on her knee. The world felt fragile. She swallowed and whispered to herself, Okay, I'll meet you. Jonah tugged at her leg. She scooped him up. We have to go out, honey, but we'll talk soon. Jonah frowned. Mama, scared? She hugged him tight. I'll protect you, always. She kissed his forehead. He smiled weakly as she carried him inside. Her phone buzzed again. An email from the school principal. Due to the viral scandal, we're reconsidering your contract. Please explain. Sarah's jaw tightened. She wiped wax from Jonah's hair. Guilt gnawed. She'd faked the engagement to shield him. Now consequences piled high. Yet beneath fear flickered hope. Inheritance might solve everything. But first, she had to survive. Sarah parked her sedan under an elm tree at Carmichael Park. Dappled sunlight danced on wet pavement. She tightened the seatbelt around Jonah. He stared out the window, finger pressed to the glass. Stay here, okay? I'll be right back, he nodded, brows furrowed. Sarah grabbed her purse and the crumpled letter. Her heart hammered as she approached a gazebo by a pond. Lucas Carter stood beneath it, crisp suit drenched from earlier rain, hair damp. He held a manila envelope. He smiled tightly. Thank you for coming. Sarah's legs trembled. What is all this? He gestured to a bench. She sat, trying to steady her breathing. Jonah's footsteps sounded behind her. The child's eyes widened at the stranger. Lucas crouched to Jonah's level. This is Jonah? He offered a gentle smile. Hi, Jonah. I'm Lucas. Jonah nodded, shy. Lucas stood. I saw you running last night. I work security for the Bennett estate. Your father was dear to me. I had a promise to keep. Sarah's pulse spiked. Security? My father never mentioned you. Lucas's gaze darkened. He was private. He trusted few. When he died, he left this all to a small circle. Me included. We sought you. We found you here. He handed Sarah the envelope. She slid off the envelope seal, unfolded papers. A certified copy of her father's will. It stipulated that Sarah, only child, inherited his tech startup shares, worth millions, and a rural estate in upstate New York. But there was a condition. She had to occupy the main house for 6 months to fully claim ownership. After 6 months, any transfer required her signature. Sarah's hands trembled. Eyes stung. Millions? A house? This can't be real. Dad didn't have this much. Lucas placed a hand on her shoulder. He built his company in secret. He wanted you protected. The condition was to ensure you settled patiently, not squander it. She stared at the papers. But why would anyone chase me? Lucas's expression hardened. Your father had enemies, business partners who tried to steal technology. They believed the inheritance passed to other parties. Orders were to eliminate any heirs. Sarah swallowed. So, last night, yes, they tracked you. Here, she closed her eyes. What do I do now? Lucas exhaled. We move you to safe house immediately. I have a team, but there's more. Your viral scandal, they'll use it to distract you. They want to isolate you. We can't let that happen. Sarah's mind reeled. Social media, school, work. They all faded as the weight of danger pressed in. She hugged Jonah tight. Okay, let's go. Lucas nodded. Stay close. He guided them to a black SUV. As they drove away, Sarah glanced at the will documents on her lap. The wind rustled spring blossoms beyond. She felt fear, excitement, and grief. Grief for her father's secrets, intrigue at a new life, and guilt. She'd promised Jonah stability. Now their lives would change forever. Lucas glanced back in the rearview mirror. I'll keep you safe. Sarah nodded. I trust you. As they disappeared down the tree-lined road, Sarah clenched the paperwork. The inheritance was real. Danger lurked. But for the first time in years, hope flickered. A converted loft in Lincoln Park felt oddly peaceful. Exposed brick walls. Wooden beams. Soft light from tall windows. Lucas led Sarah and Jonah inside. 2 security personnel stood at attention, women lean and alert. They nodded respectfully. Lucas gestured. This is temporary. We'll move again soon. Sarah set Jonah on a plush ottoman. He picked up a toy car, eyes curious. She turned to Lucas. Thank you. But how did you find me? Lucas closed the door, drawing the curtains. He pointed to a map on the wall. Pin markers scattered across Chicago. Your father had me monitor potential threats. When we saw you at the motel, I intervened. Sarah frowned. I never contacted you. His jaw tightened. Your friend posted your location. Someone tipped them off. Might have been the lawyer. He's compromised. We can't trust him. Sarah's blood ran cold. The lawyer who invited her to the meeting. He was feeding her enemies. She sat on a leather couch, Jonah cuddled in her lap. Rain tapped against the windows. She wrapped her arms around Jonah. He pressed his head against her shoulder. Outside, a car idled across the street. Lucas watched from the curtains, phone in hand. He typed a message. "Eyes on the house." "No movement yet," Sarah asked, voice trembling. "Who can I trust?" "Everyone. Everyone's after this." Lucas exhaled slowly. "Trust is earned. I didn't know you existed until 2 days ago. But I knew your father. I know how he thought. I'm on your side." Sarah looked at him, searching his face. His suit was tailored, expensive. Salt and pepper hair. Concern softened his eyes. But she hesitated. "My life was simple. I just worked, took care of Jonah. Now, everything's upside down." He knelt before her. "You're not alone. I'll protect you, and I'll help." "You learn to protect yourself." Sarah swallowed. "I need to keep Jonah safe." He nodded. "And you will." Over the next days, Sarah settled into a routine. She homeschooled Jonah from the loft, online classes at the kitchen island. Lucas's team dropped off groceries. She skimmed headlines. Her fake engagement story still trended. Meme videos of her strolling with a ring, pretending to be happy. Comments ranged from mockery to pity. She shivered. Lucas blocked her social feeds. "Stay focused," he said. One afternoon, Sarah sat at a sleek desk, reviewing company records, on a laptop. She scanned her father's emails, encrypted messages about proprietary software and patent applications. Someone needed that. She closed the laptop as footsteps approached. Lucas entered, arms crossed. "Another threat," he said, handing her a phone with a photo. It showed a man in a suit lurking outside a building where Sarah once worked. The man's face was masked by a baseball cap. His posture was predatory. Sarah's heart clenched. "Another hitman?" Lucas nodded. "Probably. We're up against professionals." She pressed her lips together. "What about the fake engagement? Could that distract them? Could it bring more eyes?" Lucas's gaze darkened. "It already has. Social media makes you vulnerable, but people also sympathize. Some might help." Sarah shook her head. "I hate it. My life exposed. I can't hide anymore." Lucas sat beside her. You're stronger than you realize. But you need training." She pulled away. "Training?" He stood. "Self-defense, weapons, situational awareness. I'll teach you. If you can't run, you can fight." Sarah's stomach twisted. She looked at Jonah, coloring on the floor. "I'll do anything for him." Lucas nodded. "Good. We start tomorrow." He left. Sarah stared at Jonah. He looked up, bright eyes shining. She forced a smile. "Mommy's going to learn some new things, buddy." He grinned. "Cool. Like a superhero?" She kissed his forehead. "Exactly like a superhero." That night, Lucas sat with Sarah in the loft's spacious living room. Rain pattered outside. Jonah slept upstairs. Lucas pulled out a pair of black gloves and a folding knife. The knife's blade glinted in lamplight. "Lesson 1. Situational awareness," he said. He stood and scanned the room, then the hall. He pointed out potential cover, couch edges, lampstands, weight distribution. "Know your exits. Always have a plan." Sarah nodded, muscles tense. Lucas's calm confidence grounded her. "Okay." He handed her the knife. "Hold it properly. Thumb here." He guided her fingers. She felt the weight, a small power. Lesson 2. Basic defense. He stepped closer, demonstrating stances. Sarah mimicked, feet shoulder-width apart. He moved toward her slowly. She tensed, knife raised. He nudged her side gently. She gasped. "Keep your core tight. Use your hips." Her breathing came fast. This is hard." He smiled, soft but firm. "You'll get there." They trained for hours. Each move drained Sarah, physically and mentally. Sweat soaked her shirt. She faltered, nearly dropping the knife. Lucas caught her arm gently. Steady. His touch lingered. Her breath hitched. She looked into his eyes, gray, intense, concerned. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded, stepping back. "Rest." He poured water into a cup, handed it to her. She drank, gulping. The quiet between them felt charged. She brushed damp strands of hair from her face. He watched, silent. "Why help me?" she asked. Lucas sat beside her. "Your father was a friend. He believed in you. He trusted me. I'll honor that trust." Something warm flickered in her chest. She looked away, blinking quick tears. "I never knew him like this. I wish I'd seen it earlier." He reached and gently brushed her cheek. She startled, heart fluttering. He pulled back, expression unreadable. "Focus on tomorrow." He stood. "Get some rest." Sarah stared at his retreating form. Her pulse thrummed. Training left her exhausted but alive. She carried the knife and water upstairs. Jonah sat on the bed in pajamas, clutching a stuffed dinosaur. "Superhero training?" he asked sleepily. She nodded, kissing his head. "Yes. Mommy's going to protect you." He yawned. "Okay." She tucked him in. Darkness enveloped the room. She lay awake, mind spinning with Lucas's touch, the knife's weight, the inheritance, and the viral hatred. She felt torn between fear and something else, something like hope. 2 nights later, Sarah's phone buzzed. It was a private email from an unknown address. "Knock, knock. The house is empty. You're alone." No signature. Chills raced down her spine. She woke Jonah. "Get dressed. We have to move." He frowned. "Where?" She hugged him. "Someplace safe. I'll explain later." She grabbed a backpack with clothes and toys. Lucas waited downstairs with the SUV. Rain had returned. Steel gray clouds blanketed the city. He slid into the driver's seat. Jonah climbed in, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Sarah hopped in next to Lucas. He shut the door. "Another threat?" he asked quietly. Sarah handed him her phone. Lucas read the email, his jaw clenched. "They know where you are. The lawyers. Betrayal runs deeper." Sarah's throat burned. "I thought he was the one who contacted you." Lucas shook his head. "He's playing both sides. I've traced a transfer from his firm to an offshore account. He's on the payroll." Sarah closed her eyes. "He invited me to that meeting. I walked right into a trap." Lucas glanced at her, concern etched. "We can't trust anyone else." He started the engine. The SUV's tires hissed on wet asphalt. He drove through back streets to a nondescript warehouse in an industrial area. The building looked abandoned, broken windows, graffiti on walls. Lucas parked behind a dumpster. "Stay here, I'll check inside." Sarah gripped Jonah's hand. "Be careful." Lucas nodded, disappearing into shadow. Sarah knelt beside Jonah. He hugged her leg. She kissed his head. "Mommy's gonna make sure you're safe." Inside the warehouse, Lucas moved quietly, flashlight in hand. Metal shelves stood empty. Puddles gleamed on the concrete floor. He heard voices, low, urgent. He crept toward a doorway. Through the crack, 2 men huddled around a laptop. "One more step and Bennett's kid is toast," one said, voice cold. "The lawyer wants proof of death." Lucas's blood boiled. He tapped the shoulder of the nearest man. In 2 swift moves, he disarmed him. The second man whirled, gun raised. Lucas shot the gun from his hand. A single shot echoed. The man fell, groaning. Lucas cuffed the first man. "You're done." He dragged both into the open. Sarah and Jonah waited tensely in the SUV. Lucas emerged with the men bound. Sarah exhaled. "Are they?" Lucas stared at her. "Alive, but barely." "They'll talk." Sarah shut the door. Rain tapped the roof. Jonah clutched her arm. "Mommy," she rubbed his back. "They can't hurt us now." Lucas climbed in. "The lawyer is deeper in this. He planned to have you killed and claim the estate." Sarah felt bile rise. "My own lawyer." Lucas nodded. "He'll be arrested, but the threats won't stop. Others want your father's tech. They'll come for you." Sarah swallowed hard. "What do we do?" Lucas exhaled. "We keep moving. But I think it's time you know more about my story." Sarah looked at him, confusion mingling with trust. "Your story?" Lucas met her gaze. "I wasn't always security. I used to build tech. Your father and I co-founded a venture. I left 8 years ago, lost everything when he died. I've watched over his legacy in secret." Sarah stared at him. "You lost everything?" He nodded. "I almost lost myself. Then I found a cause. Protecting you and Jonah is personal." She felt warmth bloom. "Thank you, Lucas." He looked at Jonah, who stared wide-eyed from the back seat. "He's brave, like you." Sarah's eyes stung. "He's my world." Lucas nodded, engine rumbling. "We'll keep him safe." They drove into the night as rain washed Chicago clean. Sarah pressed her forehead to the window. Shadows raced past. Danger remained. But Lucas's words echoed. They had a personal bond. The inheritance, the viral scandal. They all paled beside the bond they were forming. In that moment, Sarah believed they could face anything. Weeks passed in a blur of motion and tension. Sarah and Jonah stayed in a secure residence in Evanston. Each morning, Lucas dropped supplies at a side door: groceries, books, clothes. He trained Sarah daily. She learned to aim, to block, to breathe under pressure. Jonah learned at a pretend obstacle course in the basement. Lucas and Jonah played superhero games, building trust. But the threats intensified. One evening, Sarah spotted a surveillance drone buzzing near the backyard. Lucas shot it down with a rifle through the window. Shards of metal and carbon fiber tinkled onto the grass. Jonah screamed. Sarah scooped him up. Lucas smashed the rifle butt against the drone until it lay lifeless. He knelt, inspecting the pieces. "They're relentless." Sarah hugged him. "Why? Why chase a single mother?" Lucas's face was grim. "Because the tech your father developed is revolutionary. Artificial intelligence, security algorithms. Whoever controls it controls markets. They want to bury you." Sarah's chest tightened. "So, they'll never stop?" Lucas stood, brushing rain off his jacket. "We have to outsmart them." One rainy afternoon, Sarah received a text. "Meet me at North Avenue Beach. Alone." No name. She stared at the text. Lucas felt her tremble. "Don't go." She shook her head. "I must. Maybe it's someone who wants to help." Lucas's jaw clenched. "You're going to be alone. That's a trap." Sarah met his eyes, resolute. "I have to know." He exhaled. "Fine. I'll be nearby." That evening, Sarah bundled Jonah in a raincoat. They drove to North Avenue Beach. Wind howled lakeward, waves crashing. Streetlights cast an amber glow on wet sand. She scanned the shoreline. No one. Jonah shivered. Sarah knelt and hugged him. Stay close. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, hooded. Sarah's pulse spiked. The figure approached. Sarah whispered, "Who are you?" The figure pulled down the hood. Her childhood friend, Maya. Tears streaked her cheeks. "Sarah, I'm so sorry." Sarah's breath hitched. "Maya, what are you doing here?" Maya knelt, wrapping her arms around Sarah. Jonah stared, confused. Sarah patted Maya's back. "Talk." Maya pulled away, face pale. I work for the lawyer. I thought I was doing the right thing. I never meant to hurt you." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "You betrayed me." Maya's voice cracked. "I was in debt. He paid me. I thought I could help him find you, and then he'd let us split things. But when I saw what he really planned..." A shout broke her words. A gunshot echoed. Maya screamed. Sarah grabbed Jonah and dove behind a dune. Sand sprayed. A bullet ricocheted off metal. Sarah peeked, 2 men aiming at Maya. Maya ran, stumbling on wet sand. Sarah felt panic choke her. She had a weapon strapped to her boot. She pulled it free, aimed. Lucas's voice crackled through her earpiece. "Sarah, get back. It's a trap." Sarah hesitated. Maya's cry tore through her. Sarah fired a single shot at one attacker's knee. He collapsed. The other turned, firing. Sarah ducked. Sand flew. Jonah screamed. Lucas emerged from a dune crest, rifle raised. He fired 2 precise shots. Both attackers fell silent. Lucas rushed to Sarah. She protected Jonah. Maya lay on the sand, trembling. Lucas knelt beside her. "Stay down." Sarah rushed to Maya. "What happened? Are you okay?" Maya shook her head. Tears streamed. "I'm so sorry," Sarah bristled. "Why did you lead them to me?" Maya's voice was muffled by sobs. "I had no choice. The lawyer, he threatened my family." Sarah's chest tightened. She looked at Lucas. He helped Maya to her feet. "We'll protect her," he said. Sarah scooped Jonah into her arms, his face white. "Are you okay, honey?" Jonah nodded, eyes wide. I saw people." She kissed his head. "It's okay. You're safe." Lucas helped Maya to the SUV. Once inside, he turned to Sarah. "Did you see their faces?" She nodded. "Briefly. I recognized one from the lawyer's office." Lucas's brow furrowed. "This is bigger than we thought. The network runs deep." Sarah exhaled. "Then we fight deeper." Lucas met her gaze. "We share everything now. No more secrets." She nodded. "Agreed." As Lucas drove them away from the windswept beach, Sarah hugged Jonah, thoughts spinning. Betrayal stung, but her resolve burned brighter. She would protect Jonah, uncover the truth, and survive. The road ahead was treacherous, but with Lucas by her side, however uncertain, she felt she might just make it. In the safe house's dim basement, a makeshift gym stood. Mats on the floor, punching bags hanging from rafters. Lucas stood across from Sarah. He held focus mitts. Jonah watched from a stool, coloring. "Today, we practice hand-to-hand," Lucas said. "No weapons." Sarah stretched her arms, knees, bent. "Okay," Lucas called out numbers. 1, 2, 1, and Sarah jabbed the mitts. Her muscles burned, sweat beading on her forehead. Lucas corrected her stance. "Elbows in. Rotate your hips." She gritted her teeth and adjusted. He held the mitts tighter. She punched again. The mat creaked under her feet. After 30 minutes, Lucas stopped. Sarah crouched for water. Her arms trembled. He leaned against the wall. "You're doing great," she swallowed, chest heaving. "Feels good. Scary, but good." He nodded. "Confidence comes from action." Sarah glanced at Jonah. He smiled and gave her thumbs up. She felt pride. Lucas walked to a shelf and grabbed 2 wooden sticks, training batons. Next, disarming an attacker. Sarah's eyes widened. She took 1 stick. Lucas demonstrated a quarter-circle swing. He approached as if attacking. She blocked, struck his arm. He winced. He offered pointers. Stay loose. Break his grip. After several tries, she struck hard enough to make him stumble. She exhaled, heart pounding. Lucas smiled. "See? You're stronger than you know." She wiped sweat from her brow. "Thank you." He studied her face. "I'm here for you. Always." Her cheeks warmed. She looked down. "I know." They trained until dusk. Jonah joined occasionally, practicing punches in the corner, giggling. Sarah felt transformation, fear fueling strength. Each punch, each block, each controlled breath made her feel more herself. Later, Lucas and Sarah shared dinner in the small kitchen. Jonah dozed upstairs. Sarah fixed herself a sandwich. Lucas prepared a steak, a hint of luxury in their clandestine world. He handed her the plate. "Eat. You need energy." She sat across from him. "I wonder who's behind all this. The lawyer, the attackers, the corporate spies." Lucas paused, fork midair. "I traced communications to a firm called Moreland Securities. They specialize in hostile takeovers." Sarah's jaw tightened. "They want Dad's tech." He nodded, slicing his steak. "Their CEO, Vincent Moreland, is ruthless. He'll stop at nothing." Sarah stabbed a pickle on her plate. "Then we expose him." Lucas's gaze softened. "We will." She met his eyes, hunger and hope flickering. "I won't let Jonah live in fear." He reached across and touched her hand. "Neither will I." Darkness fell outside. They sat in quiet solidarity, 2 unlikely allies forging a bond. Sarah realized she trusted Lucas more than anyone. The training was more than defense. It was forging her spirit. She'd learned to fight for herself and her son. And somewhere between kicks and punches, fear began to yield to hope. 2 weeks later, Sarah's phone buzzed with an alert. Breaking news. Lucas Carter arrested in connection with Moreland Securities data breach. Headlines splashed on the screen. Former tech CEO turned security chief. Criminal? Sarah's heart lurched. She ripped the phone from Jonah's hand. "Mommy?" She forced a smile. "Nothing, buddy. Just old news." But inside, panic twisted. Lucas arrested? She raced to the safe house's security feed. The front gate swung open as a convoy of black SUVs rolled in. Agents in suits poured out. Before Sarah could react, 2 men kicked down the door. Sarah. "Bennett, you're under arrest!" one shouted. Jonah cried. Sarah grabbed him, shielding his face. "No, this is a mistake." They cuffed her wrists behind her back. Jonah screamed as they separated them. Sarah's vision blurred. Fear roared in her ears. She struggled, voice raw. "Jonah, don't take him." Agents slammed the door. Sarah pounded against it. Jonah's screams echoed. Her heart shattered. Moments later, the door reopened. Lucas, in handcuffs, stepped in. His gaze locked on hers. "Sarah," he mouthed. Tears dripped down her cheeks. "Lucas!" Agents pulled him away. He reached for her, but they dragged him past. Sarah staggered to the window, watching Lucas's pants scrape the floor. She clutched the phone, recalling his last words. "Trust me." Did she? Or had she been deceived? She sank to the floor, repulsed by betrayal. An agent yanked her to her feet. "Time to go. Child Protective Services is on the way." Sarah shouted, "You can't. He's just a kid." They hauled her out. She saw a white SUV idling outside. A woman with a badge hovered. "Ms. Bennett." Her tone was cold. "We need to take Jonah into custody." Sarah lunged forward. "No, please, you can't take my son." The agent raised a hand. "Calm down. We have orders." Sarah sobbed, voice choking. "He's 5. He needs me." The agent's face remained impassive. "Pack your things. We move both of you." Sarah's legs buckled. She cradled Jonah as agents cuffed her again. Jonah's tears soaked her shirt. She whispered over and over, "It's okay, baby. I'm here." They escorted them to the SUV. Sarah sat in the back seat, Jonah on her lap. She pressed her head against his hair. Lucas stood at the curb. SUV doors closed around him. He looked at her, eyes pleading. But the SUV's door slammed. He disappeared behind reflective glass. Sarah's heart refused to slow. Betrayal coiled in her gut. But she had to fight. For Jonah, for truth. As the SUV pulled away, she mouthed silently, "I'll find you." The van carrying Sarah and Jonah rolled into the underground parking of the Chicago PD. Agents led them to an interrogation room, metal tables and harsh fluorescent lights. A detective sat across, his gaze unreadable. "Ms. Bennett, you're under suspicion of collusion with Vincent Moreland and Lucas Carter to embezzle tech funds. You willingly assisted them. Confess and things will go easier." Sarah glared. "That's a lie." He slid a file across. CVs, emails, photos. One image showed Sarah handing a thumb drive to Lucas. She clenched her fists. "I stole nothing." The detective leaned in. "So you say. You've been tracked meeting with Moreland execs. You knew what you were doing." Sarah's lip trembled. "No proof," he smirked. "Witnesses. Forensic backups. You're done, Bennett." She hugged Jonah as he whimpered. "They're lying. I'm innocent. They set me up." The detective shrugged. "Evidence is evidence." Her heart pounded. She needed proof to free Lucas, to clear her name. She glanced at Jonah's small face. He buried his head. She kissed his hair. "Listen to me," she whispered. "Remember the lawyer, Thomas Gray? He's the traitor." Jonah sniffled. "Mommy?" She squeezed his hand. "Yes, he will confess. We just need him." The door crashed open. Gray stood there, hands raised. "Stop this. You're making a huge mistake." Sarah rose, heart racing. "Mr. Gray," Detective sneered. "Quiet." Gray ignored him. He approached Sarah. I can prove everything. I was forced. I can give you evidence." Detective pulled out handcuffs. "You're under arrest, Mr. Gray." Gray held up a folder. "Take me to Sarah first. I'll give it to her, please." Sarah's stomach twisted. If Gray died in custody, she'd lose her only chance. She stood. "Detective, stop. Please, let him speak." The detective hesitated. "This doesn't concern you." Sarah pressed forward. "No. He has proof of the conspiracy. If you lock him up, you bury the truth." The detective glared, then he sighed. "Fine. 5 minutes." Gray raced to Sarah, thrusting the folder into her hands. Inside, recorded phone calls, emails confirming Gray's collusion with Moreland Securities, ordering hits, framing Lucas, forging evidence. Sarah felt hope surge as she skimmed documents. This is real." Gray sank onto a chair. "I'm sorry, Sarah." Detective waved to 2 guards. "Get him and them out of here, now." The guards rushed Gray and Sarah, but Sarah refused to move. "No, I'm staying," Detective barked. "Remove her." Sarah felt hands on her arms. She twisted, fists striking the nearest guard. They stumbled. Jonah screamed. She grabbed Jonah and sprinted. Adrenaline roared in her veins. She bolted toward the elevator. Doors slid open. She shoved Jonah inside. Security crashed in. "Mommy!" Jonah cried. Sarah hit the button for ground. Floor. Doors closed. She held Jonah tightly. Elevators rattled down. Down. The guards shouted outside. Sarah's mind raced. She needed Lucas. She needed to escape with Jonah. Elevator dinged on lobby. Doors slid open. 2 guards lunged. She sidestepped, knocking one aside. She grabbed Jonah and bolted into the crowded lobby. Panic rippled among people waiting for taxis. She pushed them aside. She spotted a maintenance door ajar. She slipped through it, pulling Jonah behind. A stairwell descended into darkness. They ran down the stairs. 2 flights, 3 flights. Sarah heard footsteps above, guards in hot pursuit. She descended until the stairwell opened to a basement corridor. Flickering lights cast eerie shadows. She darted into an alcove, heart pounding. Jonah clutched her leg. She whispered, "Shh, we have to hide." They crouched behind crates. She heard muffled voices and footsteps. Someone switched on lights and swept a flashlight across the corridor. It passed inches above them. Sarah pressed Jonah tight, arms around his shoulders. The guards walked past, voices fading. Sarah exhaled slowly. "We need to find Lucas." Jonah whimpered. "Where is he?" She cupped his cheek. "He's safe, I promise." She peered down the corridor. At the far end, a utility door cracked open. Someone emerged, shuffling steps. Sarah recognized the silhouette. Lucas. He wore dark clothes, face strained. She jumped from behind crates. "Lucas!" He turned, eyes lighting up. "Sarah, Jonah." He rushed forward. They met halfway. He scooped Jonah into his arms. Sarah hugged Lucas's waist. "We got proof. Gray gave it to me." Lucas exhaled. "Good. Now we get to the rooftop. I'll call my driver." Jonah squirmed. "Mommy, it's scary." Sarah looked up. "But we're together." Lucas led them down the corridor and up another flight of stairs, back into the building. They sneaked through a series of maintenance hallways. Finally, they reached a door marked "Rooftop Access." Lucas slid it open. Cold night air rushed past them, carrying distant city sirens. On the roof, Lucas signaled toward a black sedan parked at street level. Headlights on, engine idling. "Ready?" Sarah nodded. "Go." Lucas lowered Jonah into her arms. "Stay close." He slipped alongside Sarah, protective stance. They edged to the roof's edge staircase. Metal stairs led down to a fire escape. Sarah felt the wind whipping. Rain fell again. They climbed down carefully. Metal steps slick with rain. Lucas guided Jonah, then Sarah. At the bottom, they ran across the alley under a flickering streetlight. The sedan's driver door swung open. The driver, a masked man, nodded. Lucas ushered Sarah and Jonah into the back seat. He slid in beside them. Doors slammed. Engine roared. Lucas dialed his phone. "Take us to the northern safe house. Go, go." The Sedan peeled away. Sarah clutched Jonah. Lucas watched the rearview mirror. "We lost them." Sarah hugged Jonah tighter. "Thank you." Lucas exhaled. "They believed your line about the lawyer, so they looked there. We used Gray's confession to escape." Jonah yawned. Sleepiness edged away fear. Sarah kissed his temple. "You're safe now, baby." Lucas glanced at her. Rain streaked the windows. "You both are." As the sedan's headlights vanished into the night, Sarah's chest swelled with relief and triumph. They'd escaped. They had proof. But more battles loomed. She looked at Lucas, gratitude and something deeper in her eyes. In that moment, she realized she was no longer alone, and that terrified and thrilled her at once. Dawn broke over an abandoned manor in rural Wisconsin. Mist hovered above wetlands. The safe house sat in isolation, forest all around. Inside, Lucas and a small team reviewed Gray's evidence. Sarah sat at a long oak table, reading transcripts. Jonah napped on a couch, teddy bear in hand. Lucas whispered to Sarah, "Once we present this to Chicago PD and federal agents, Moreland falls. We just need to stay hidden until then." Sarah nodded. Excitement warmed her. "Let's do it." Lucas stood. "I'll call in the favor I owe. My brother is a U.S. attorney. He'll expedite." Sarah exhaled. "Thank you." A knock sounded at the door. Lucas frowned. Who could that be? He approached and opened the door a crack. A tall woman in a pressed suit stood in the hallway. Her face was familiar, Midwestern, sharp features. She smiled, too bright. "Good morning. I'm Agent Renee Collins, FBI. May we come in?" Lucas stiffened. "We're not ready." She flashed a badge. "We have a warrant to search." Sarah's stomach flipped. She closed the transcript. "What warrant?" Collins' eyes flicked to Jonah. He stirred, rubbed sleep from his eyes. Sarah rushed to him. "Mommy," he whispered. "Agent." Collins stepped inside. "Ms. Bennett, step away from your son." Sarah hugged Jonah to her chest. "What do you want?" Collins pursed her lips. "Mr. Carter, you're under investigation for obstruction of justice. You failed to cooperate with law enforcement." Lucas's voice was calm but firm. "This is a safe house. You're trespassing." She signaled 2 agents behind her to enter. They fanned out. Lucas stepped in front of Sarah. "You're making a mistake." Collins smiled. "Mr. Carter, hand over your phone. Now." Lucas hesitated. Sarah's heart hammered. She backed toward a side door, holding Jonah. "We can't let them take Lucas. He'll destroy the case." Lucas raised his phone. "If you're smart, you leave." Collins laughed, cold. "You should have surrendered. Now we'll confiscate everything. You're cornered." Sarah's mind raced. She glanced at Jonah's teddy bear. An idea sparked. She placed Jonah on the floor. She raced to Lucas's coat hanging on a rack. She slipped out, phone in hand. She sprinted through a side window that Lucas had left cracked. Outside, dew soaked her sneakers. Trees towered overhead. She sprinted into the woods, following a narrow deer trail. She held her phone to her ear. Breath rasped. "Lucas, hide us. They're FBI." He gasped over the line. "Move toward the river. I'll meet you there." Sarah rounded a tree. The manor's lawn lay behind, with agents blocking exits. She broke into a full run. Jonah stayed close, panting. He tripped over roots. Sarah scooped him up, tears stinging her eyes. They pushed deeper into the woods. She held Jonah tight. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's got you." She heard sirens in the distance. Drones hovered overhead. She ducked beneath low branches, sweat purling on her forehead. She trekked toward a murky riverbank. Lucas emerged ahead, stroking the water. He motioned. "This way." Sarah waded in, water lapping at her knees. Jonah clung to her, wet clothes clinging to his skin. She fought the current with each step. Lucas reached them, wrapping a blanket around Jonah. He guided them to a hidden canoe tied to a post. Sarah climbed in, Jonah settling in her lap. Lucas pushed off. The canoe drifted silently downstream, water gurgling beneath. Rain clouds gathered overhead again. Sarah held Jonah, reflecting on the betrayal. Agent Collins wasn't a real agent. She was Moreland's mole. They'd faked an FBI raid to seize evidence. Lucas paddled hard, direction shore. "She's on Moreland's payroll," he said. "We almost lost everything, Sarah's heart pounded. She looked at Jonah's drenched face. He clutched Teddy. She stroked his hair. Why would someone betray us? Lucas exhaled. Because Moreland fears the truth. He'd rather have power than justice. She nodded, tears mingling with rain. We have to expose him ourselves. He guided the canoe into a hidden cove. A rowboat moored there. We head to Dubuque. My brother's waiting in Cedar Rapids. He can file the evidence directly to the court. Sarah swallowed. Okay. They transferred to the rowboat. Sarah held Jonah as Lucas rowed under gray sky. Forest banks rushed past. Sarah's mind churned. Trust had shattered. But Lucas remained steady. He was her anchor. Jonah drifted to sleep on her shoulder. She kissed his head. Safe now. Lucas looked at her. We'll keep him safe. She met his gaze. Gratitude and something deeper blazing. Thank you, he smiled softly. There's one more thing. She frowned. What? He paused. I care about you. Her breath hitched. She stared at him. He reached across and brushed her cheek. Thunder rolled. He whispered, I want to be more than your protector. Sarah's heart thundered. She swallowed. Words tangled. I feel the same. He closed the distance and kissed her. Warm, urgent, gentle. Rain splattered around them. Sarah melted into him as the boat drifted under low-hanging branches. Jonah slept peacefully. They pulled apart. Lucas rested his forehead on hers. We'll get through this. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Together. 3 days later, at dawn, they reached a safe house in Cedar Rapids. Lucas's brother, Aiden Carter, waited. He was a suited man in his late 30s, sharp-eyed, calm. He greeted them at the dock. Lucas, Sarah, good to see you, he said, ushering them inside. We've secured a court order. Moreland's assets are frozen. But he's dangerous. He won't go quietly. Sarah hugged Aiden. Thank you. Aiden nodded. We have what we need to indict Moreland, but he's at a gala tonight at the Davenport Hotel. He's under the guise of philanthropy. News outlets will be there. Sarah leaned forward. He can't be allowed to destroy evidence. Aiden tapped his phone. I arranged for press to ask questions. You need to be there to confront him. We'll publish the evidence live. Sarah's breath caught. Me? But I'm not ready to face him. Jonah tugged her sleeve. Maybe I go with you. She kissed his head. No, baby. You stay with Aiden. It's not safe. Jonah pouted. I want to help. She hugged him. I love you. I'll be safe. Lucas stepped close. I'll go with you. We'll do this together. Sarah looked at him, heart fluttering. He offered his jacket. She pulled it on. Aiden handed her a folder. These are the files. A USB, transcripts, videos. You confront him. We go live in 10 minutes. Lucas kissed her temple. I've got your back. Sarah squeezed his hand. Let's end this. The Davenport Hotel lobby glittered with chandeliers and marble floors. Guests in tuxedos and gowns sipped champagne. A string quartet played softly. Journalists clustered near registration. Security checkpoints buzzed with metal detectors. Sarah wore a black sheath dress, hair pinned back. Lucas wore a dark suit. They walked side by side. Jonah's teddy bear clutched in Sarah's purse. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. Sarah felt nerves ignite. Heart beat loud. Aiden and a small press team waited near the red carpet. A TV, camera focused on the entrance. Sarah inhaled. Lucas squeezed her hand. You ready? She nodded, mouth dry. They stepped onto the red carpet. Paparazzi bulbs popped. Journalists shouted questions. Sarah spotted Moreland near the center, tall, silver-haired, a smug grin. He held a champagne flute. He spotted them. His smile froze. He walked toward them, entourage trailing. Lucas kept Sarah close. Moreland stopped a few feet away. "Ms. Bennett, Mr. Carter," he said, voice silk. "I didn't expect to see you here." Sarah squared her shoulders. "Mr. Moreland, this is for you." She held up the USB. "Your lies end tonight." Moreland arched an eyebrow. "What is that?" Lucas stepped beside her. "Evidence of your crimes." Moreland's grin tightened. He waved to security. 2 bodyguards stepped forward. Sarah swallowed. Reporters edged closer, voices rising. Aiden whispered to the camera operator. They began streaming live. Moreland's face darkened. "These people are criminals. This is defamation." Sarah raised her voice. "Here is a recording of you ordering the hit on my mother's lawyer." She pressed play on her phone. Audio crackled through speaker. Moreland's associates hushed. The recording played. Gray better handle Bennett or face consequences. No loose ends. Murmurs rippled. Moreland's expression flickered. He stepped towards Sarah. "That's doctored." Lucas advanced. "We have multiple backups. Emails, witness testimony." Sarah pressed pause. She scanned the crowd. Cameras zoomed in. She looked at Lucas. "Do it now." Lucas stepped beside Moreland and called out, "Press, ask him about his offshore accounts." A journalist piped up, "Mr. Moreland, is it true that you diverted funds to an offshore shell company?" Moreland's face reddened. He glanced at reporters, then at Sarah. "These allegations are false." Sarah held up another phone, streaming an email from Moreland's server. The camera operator focused on the screen. The email showed Moreland instructing his CFO to funnel tech assets away from the Bennett estate. Gasps echoed. Moreland's security tensed. He gestured to the sound system. "Security, shut her up!" 2 bodyguards lunged. Lucas blocked them. A fistfight erupted. Lucas punched one, the other tackled him. Sarah raised her voice. "Call the FBI. This is evidence of criminal assault." "Activity!" Guests shrank back. Aiden approached Moreland, slapping handcuffs on his wrist as 2 federal agents emerged from the crowd. Moreland's eyes widened. Agents seized him. Sarah hugged Lucas. Cameras flashed. The crowd cheered. Jonah, hidden behind a pillar, peeked, out, eyes wide. A reporter approached Sarah. "Ms. Bennett, how do you feel?" Sarah steadied her voice despite adrenaline. "I feel relief. Justice is served." As Moreland was led away in cuffs, reporters swarmed. Lucas wrapped an arm around Sarah. She leaned into him. Relief washed through her. Jonah ran to her, hugging, her legs. She lifted him, tears in her eyes. "You're safe now." Lucas kissed her temple. "We did it." Sarah exhaled, heart pounding. The world had watched. Her father's legacy remained. She'd protected her son. She'd found love amid chaos. As the crowd cheered, Sarah closed her eyes, overwhelmed by hope. 2 weeks later, spring sunlight danced on the lake in Grant Park. Cherry blossoms drifted in the breeze. Sarah, Jonah, and Lucas strolled along the promenade. The city's bustle felt gentle under blue sky. They approached a small table at a cafe. A newspaper headline read, "Bennett's daughter uncovers corporate crime. Moreland indicted." Sarah ran her finger down the print. She smiled. Jonah pointed to a drawing he made, crayon depiction of Sarah and Lucas as superheroes. She beamed. Lucas knelt to hug Jonah. "Heroes," he whispered. Sarah sat on a bench, Lucas sitting beside her. She hugged him. "I still can't believe it's over." Lucas brushed a stray curl from her face. "We still have months at the estate, but no one threats us now." Sarah nodded. I want to give Jonah a normal life. I'll move to the estate. Start fresh. Lucas took her hand. I'll be by your side. Sarah's heart fluttered. She squeezed his hand. Thank you for everything. Lucas turned, face earnest. He reached into his pocket. Her breath caught. He knelt, pulling out a small velvet box. Sarah Bennett, you are strong, brave, and beautiful. Will you marry me? Time slowed. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Jonah's mouth dropped. He cheered. Yes! Yes, Mommy! Sarah looked at Lucas, overwhelmed. She nodded, voice trembling. Yes, yes, I will marry you. Lucas slipped the ring onto her finger. He rose, sweeping her into an embrace. She wrapped arms around his neck, laughter and tears mingling. Jonah hugged them both. Passers-by clapped. The cafe patrons cheered. Sunshine bathed them. Sarah felt warmth flood her, relief, joy, love. Her fake engagement had gone viral. Then Lucas proposed for real. As the city hummed around them, Sarah closed her eyes, heart brimming. She looked at Lucas, at Jonah, at the blossoms drifting down. The danger was behind them. A new chapter beckoned. One of family, trust, and hope. Jonah tugged her sleeve. Can we get ice cream? She laughed, lifting him. Absolutely. Lucas smiled as they walked off together. Sarah's heart soared. She'd survived the storm. Now, with family and love, she was finally free.